Where do I start, folks? Seriously. Where do you want me to start? Do we start in the first quarter? Caitlin Clark coming out like a rocket ship, thinking that she's about to drop 40? Do we start in the second quarter? Stephanie White say, easy there. We got to make sure Kelsey Mitchell gets hers. Caitlin, slow down there, buddy. Do we start
That's the reaction of a fan base that just witnessed its team collapse on its home court. The Indiana Fever, on a night that was expected to be a celebration, were completely outplayed and driven off their own floor by the Atlanta Dream. And the voice behind that microphone has every right to be upset. The numbers tell the same story. The box score doesn't lie. Let me break down exactly why.
Team has no heart. They have no fight. They're soft. Folks, you'd think that they'd bring their A game for CeCe's debut.
Here's the scene, June 18th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Caitlin Clark makes her way through the tunnel carrying her first signature Nike sneaker, the Caitlin 1, which had been officially unveiled just one day earlier. The atmosphere inside the arena is electric. Fans are ready to celebrate a major moment. But the Atlanta Dream crashed the party, defeating the Indiana Fever 108-101. Clark delivers a strong performance in her new signature shoes, finishing with 26 points and 7 assists, yet it still isn't enough to secure the win. Making the loss even tougher to swallow, this marks the second meeting between the teams in just 3 days, and Atlanta comes away victorious in both matchups. So, when he says the Fever failed to rise to the occasion, that frustration is rooted in a very real and understandable disappointment.
First quarter, I was like, oh, okay, finally. Caitlin Clark coming out. 3 for 4 from 3. Heat check 3 from like 35 feet. Bang. Oh. Guys, we might be in for a treat tonight.
And it all began so promisingly. Go back and watch that opening quarter again. Caitlin Clark came out firing, knocking down deep three-pointers from well beyond the arc. The crowd erupted with every shot, and for nearly 10 minutes it felt like fans were witnessing the celebration they had come to see. The energy inside the building was undeniable. That's what makes a night like this so frustrating. First comes the excitement, then the disappointment. Because after that explosive first quarter, Indiana gradually stopped looking like the stronger team. The momentum shifted, the dream settled in, and the game began moving in a very different direction. The question every Fever fan is asking is a simple one. What changed? The voice behind the microphone has a theory, and much of the blame points directly toward the bench. But hold on to that thought for a moment, because when you dig into the numbers, the story becomes far more complicated than the one he's presenting.
Stephanie White said, slow down, CeCe. Kelsey Mitchell's got to get hers. Slow down, CeCe. We got to make sure Kelsey Mitchell gets hers. And then we start running plays for Kelsey Mitchell. We start running the offense through Kelsey Mitchell. And it's like, dude, what are we doing here?
That is the heart of the argument. Clark gets the offense flowing early, and then, according to critics, the team slows the pace and starts directing more possessions through Kelsey Mitchell instead. It is a frustration that connects with many Fever fans, and it is not difficult to understand why so many view it that way. However, a closer examination of what actually unfolded tells a more complete story. Mitchell was anything but absent in this game. She finished with 26 points, buried the 700 three-pointer of her career, and helped ignite a fourth-quarter rally that brought Indiana back level late in the contest. Clark, meanwhile, also closed the night with 26 points. That fact alone calls into question the notion that one star controlled the offense while the other was pushed into the background. Both players finished with the exact same scoring total. So, if Indiana's collapse was not about who was taking the shots, where was the game truly lost? The answer is found in everything that occurred between those scoring performances. The Fever's biggest issues were not connected to either star carrying too much of the burden. Instead, they stemmed from stretches where execution faltered, consistency disappeared, and the overall team performance broke down. Ultimately, that is where this matchup slipped away.
Our team had 4 offensive rebounds. The Dream had 12. Our team had 4 offensive rebounds. The Dream had 12. Our team had 19 turnovers. The Dream had 8. It's your ball game right there.
There it is again, the point he continues to emphasize. And to be fair, the statistics back up his frustration. Indiana committed 17 turnovers, 17 in total. On a night when the Fever shot efficiently and received 26 points apiece from their 2 star guards, they still kept handing Atlanta extra possessions. Against a team playing with confidence and momentum, that is a dangerous formula. The Dream wasted no time taking advantage. Instead of leaning on a single player to carry the scoring load, they attacked from every direction. Every Atlanta starter finished with at least 16 points. Read that once more. All 5 starters reached that threshold. Jordan Canada, Naz Hillman, Alisha Gray, Ryan Howard, and Angel Reese combined for an impressive 89 points. That is not the story of one player getting hot. It is the story of a balanced offense firing on all cylinders, with different players stepping up whenever opportunities emerged. Indiana simply could not generate enough answers on the defensive end. Reese, in particular, imposed her will throughout the game, finishing with 21 points and 11 rebounds while making her impact felt on nearly every possession. So, when people focus on the rebounding battle, the turnovers, and the extra possessions, they are really pointing to different pieces of the same larger issue. Indiana's defeat was not primarily about Caitlin Clark taking fewer shots or the offense shifting in another direction. The real problem was that the Fever repeatedly gifted a disciplined and determined Atlanta squad additional chances, then failed to come up with the defensive stops they desperately needed when the game was hanging in the balance. In the end, those mistakes proved far more damaging than any discussion surrounding
This team just looks like it quit. This team just looks like it quit in the third quarter. They rolled over and they quit. They rolled over and they quit. There's really no other way to put it. They rolled.
You can hear the frustration and disappointment in that reaction. Whether you believe the team completely collapsed or simply got caught up in the moment, both the eye test and the scoreboard point to the same decisive turning point, the third quarter. That is where everything began to change. The lead Indiana had worked so hard to build gradually vanished, and with it went the momentum that had been carrying the team throughout the game. This is also the stage where questions surrounding coaching become impossible to ignore. In-game adjustments are a critical part of the job. When an opponent starts putting together a significant run, the expectation is straightforward. Call a timeout, make tactical adjustments, alter defensive matchups, and help the team regain its composure. Fever fans watched Atlanta's momentum grow possession after possession, waiting for something to stop the surge, yet the response appeared slower than many would have preferred. The situation became even more difficult because of Aaliyah Boston's foul trouble. Although she still managed to score 23 points, she was forced to spend crucial stretches on the bench. Every trip to the sideline reduced Indiana's presence in the paint, and Atlanta capitalized at precisely the worst moment for the Fever. The defense became more exposed, the rebounding battle became increasingly difficult, and the Dream found even more opportunities to attack. At its heart, this is not merely a story about effort. It is the story of a team that had nearly everything going in its favor. Indiana had the lead, the support of the crowd, and the ideal setting for a statement victory. Yet, over the course of one pivotal quarter, all of those advantages slipped away. By the time the Fever attempted to regain control, the momentum had already shifted, and Atlanta never truly surrendered it again.